My daughter, she was born in December 2019, and due to visa restrictions and tedious travel from India to USA, no one could come from my family from India for help. I belong to India. All my family is in India. I have a very limited set of friends in USA which were there for my help, but ultimately there was no live-in help for us during the birth of my baby in December 2019. Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be discussing about how you can manage a baby birth, newborn all alone without any help. Without any help, I mean that you might have some friends but you do not have a live-in help. One more thing, do not forget to like this video. Rather, I would suggest you can save this video because there are a lot of steps and you might want to come back to this video to go through it again. There is a lot of scattered information on YouTube. In this video, I'm consolidating all the information, so I hope it's helpful for you. Very first step is the knowledge. You have to start accumulating the knowledge. Start reading as much as possible. Assimilate, absorb, process as much information possible. There is a lot of information available. I will tell you what all topics on the right top of my head which I can tell you that you need to be reading about. But reading and getting yourself informed and getting yourself educated about a newborn, what happens postpartum, what is the procedure of baby birth, all these things. Start reading about it. Start reading people's experiences. From each experience that you watch on YouTube or you read somewhere else, you will be learning something new. I suggest that you start writing everything down. Find the right Facebook groups. Yeah, on Facebook there are a lot of groups related to baby child rearing, related to breastfeeding, if you want to breastfeed your baby, related to baby feeding, related to weaning. Everything is there. The information is out there. All you need to do is go ahead and read about it and start educating yourself. And the takeaway is, the less surprises, the better it is. Keep yourself informed and educated. Do not panic. Just take all the information. What are baby milestones? What are the basic things? When to worry and when not to worry? These kind of things. Just start reading about it and start educating yourself. So a few topics on the top of my head are: what is skin to skin, how to swaddle, what is colic, what is purple crying, what is postpartum depression, very important, read about it. How to bath a newborn baby, when to bath a newborn baby, and very important, if you're planning to breastfeed, then how to latch, what is colostrum, all the subtopics that come under breastfeeding. If you're formula feeding, then go in detail about the formula feeding. To be honest, whether you will be breastfeeding or formula feeding, it is just a very I would say after birth decision. It really depends on you, but that decision mainly comes after you give birth. Sometimes we think that we are going to formula feed, but we just get the hang of breastfeeding, so we start breastfeeding. And sometimes we think that we're going to breastfeed, but it becomes, sometimes things don't work out and we switch to formula feeding. So be flexible. Do not make a very stringent decision what you're trying to do. It's up to you. It's completely your decision. Your health is the most important thing. So whether to breastfeed or formula feed, I would suggest that you read about both of them and leave the decision after the birth. There is a Netflix documentary called Babies. You can go ahead and watch it lot of times. Just again, I know I'm being redundant here, but the very important takeaway from this point should be that read and educate yourself. It will make you confident. Read about the birth stories. Every birth story is different. You will learn something from each and every birth story. Read about them. You can also go on YouTube and watch them. Go ahead, either like this video so that it shows up in your liked videos list in your playlist, or you can save this video in a playlist, or better, I would suggest that you can subscribe to this channel so that you do not miss out on this video. Let's get started. Make a decision where you're going to deliver. Research about the hospital and hospital bag. Take a hospital tour. I know that most of the hospitals offer hospital tours, so do take a hospital tour so that you get in that zone and you become confident because you're informed about everything. Now, in all this situation where you're handling a newborn yourself, the main part, the most important thing that is the point of struggle is the food, because preparation of food takes time, and trust me, when you have a newborn at hand, you won't even get time to get up and get a glass of water. So get yourself in the zone where you are prepared for a situation like this. Think like this, that you are very hungry and baby just got down for a nap, you just relaxed for 5 minutes, and now you're going to cook. Baby wakes up. Yes, it happens, and at that moment only the baby wakes up. You cannot, and the baby is crying. Born, the only thing that they do is either they cry or they sleep. Either they sleep or they eat or they cry. Yes, so that is the situation with a newborn. You have to be mentally prepared for that. So imagine your baby just went down for a nap, and you think, I will prepare some yummy lunch for myself because I'm starving. You decided to you're just glancing at the fridge and deciding what to cook. Just when you are about to take all the vegetables out from the fridge, your baby wakes up. Lunch has gone for a toss. You won't be able to prepare the lunch. In that situation, your solution is freezer meals, dump and go meals. Prepare freezer meals. Now there are two ways to do freezer meals. Either you can cook and freeze, you can fully cook a meal and then freeze it, or you can prepare some bags of pre-cut vegetables, put them in the freezer, and you can just dump them in the Instapot or a crock pot in those 2 minutes when your baby is asleep, and you can just sit and relax. So personally, I froze 2 weeks worth of food in running when I was about to deliver, and that food came in so handy. You can imagine, I had a 4-year-old also at home, and 4-year-olds are 70 to 80% independent, but still they need our attention. I needed to give time to my son as well. So in that scenario, if you can just cut back on all the cooking time drastically, just imagine when you were spending like in half an hour to 45 minutes in the kitchen just to cook a lunch, and now you can just do it in 5 minutes. Just imagine how helpful it is in that situation where you have a newborn in the house. I froze 2 weeks worth of food, and I honestly wish that I had frozen more because it came in so handy for 2 weeks. I can honestly say that even in the newborn phase, I was not sleep deprived. Yes, I can say that because I had food on my hand. Food, it seems like a very basic thing. Yes, it is a very basic thing, but it takes away most of our time during the day in just the preparation. Just imagine if you can cut back on that time, how much time you will have on your hands to relax. So freezer meals is your solution. Dump and go meals is your solution. There are so many channels on YouTube that give out so much information on these things. So if you are worried about the nutrition of freezer foods, a flash frozen food is even healthier than a food kept in the refrigerator. Food frozen at their highest peak of freshness retain their maximum amount of freshness when they are thawed. And I also went through a lot of homesteading channels. Homesteading people, they have a bulk produce with them at a time, and what they do is that they freeze everything. So their channels have the most reliable information on these things. There are lots of snacks with larger shelf life. Freeze snacks whatever you can. I froze around 50 to 60 oatmeal muffins, which are good for breastfeeding since I'm breastfeeding my daughter. One day I just started on a marathon when I felt like that she's going on a long nap. I started a oatmeal muffin marathon, and I froze a big batch which I'm still eating. It will last me a good 1 month or so because breastfeeding makes me very hungry. And once I'm fed, trust me, it also changes our mood. We are much happier if we are fed. So stock up on healthy snacks, see what works for you. Go up, look some recipes. There is ton of information about storing snacks and making bulk snacks. Go ahead, try them. This is your time, and start stocking up on food. Have a scheduled delivery, I would suggest that you stock up on the groceries as well. For example, if you are going for the delivery next week, you can do as much shopping as possible beforehand. For the mood swings, for postpartum depression and other things, I am not an expert, but one thing that helped me during my second time was that I added a lot of protein in my diet and I avoided caffeine and sugar. I drank a lot of water and I had very healthy diet. It really uplifted my mood. You're eating a very healthy diet because a diet directly affects your mood. So deep clean your house. So second point is deep clean your house, or if you can afford it, get it done professionally so that you do not have to worry about cleaning for at least a month. For at least a month, I would suggest just sit out the cleaning and focus on baby, their diaper changes, their bath and everything. Just focus all your energy on the baby and sit out the cleaning for at least a month. And so to sit out that cleaning, get your house deep cleaned professionally if possible before the baby comes. A blessing, I am telling you, highly recommended. Deep clean the house before the baby comes. Set up a baby station. I think it will be a little difficult for me to explain, so I made a short clip a few days ago to actually show you what my baby station looks like. I'm trying to shoot as real as possible. My daughter just went for a nap. So here is a laundry basket. I keep laundry by the side, so whenever I get 5-10 minutes, I just keep on putting the clothes away. Then here my son's toys and everything is there. There are the wipes. Then there are some toys. So I'm using a very old bed sheet, and the pillowcase I'm using it for changing mat or anything. I have a changing pad proper, but I use it when I go out. Using this old bed sheet is because I will toss it when I'm done. Right now when the kids are small, they drool a lot. They basically make a lot of mess. They will have accidents on the carpet. I intentionally removed my rug from here and put up this really old bed sheet which I was not using, so that I have lesser work cleanup to be done at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I'll just take this bed sheet and dust it in my trash can right away, and if it's too dirty, I'll just throw it in the wash. Cleaning carpet multiple times a day is a big task, and I have that experience from my firstborn, so it is always good to have this kind of setup so that the kid can roll around, play around, and still if they are making any mess, it's not coming on the carpet. This has drastically reduced my vacuuming as well. I was vacuuming 3 to 4 times a day. So here I have some toys and her diapers. I keep her nail clippers also close by because their nails grow up very fast. If I have to clip my nails, her nails, anything, I just keep it right here because their nails grow up very fast. Then I have my snack. I generally have other dry snacks as well, muffins as well, but today I wanted to have some fruit. Here's my water tumbler. It's always filled whenever I get time. I always keep some pumped milk also over here, so that if I have to take some break, I can go and my husband can take over. So he knows the milk will be here. Then I always keep my pump also in a basket. Then in this basket, there is a changing pad. This is my baby basket. There's a changing pad, there are toys, there are change of clothes. There is a moisturizing cream. So it is messy, so I'm trying to show how real and how actually the things are every day. I have kept some paper for myself for some medicines. Basically, I was having some thing in my nose, some pacifier. I also keep my mail handy so that whenever I have time, I can check my mail. This is like you can get it from Walmart. I had a gift for my son, so I just set them up right here. They're very good to sit down. You can even use these things. This is not a rug or anything. This is like only $3-4, and it is a camping pad, but it is very good to sit on if you are in a balcony or anything, or if you just want to stand. I sit with my daughter here all the time. It's a very good way to pass away the time and have some sunshine for her. So this basic arrangement, I have done it in the balcony for myself to sit with my daughter. So these kind of things for the baby. Order all the stuff for the baby beforehand. buy the diapers, buy 2 size diapers, newborn diaper, size 1 diaper, because we do not know what size the baby is going to be. Just sit out the toys and books for now, because with a newborn you're not going to need that much toys. Just keep the stuff as less as possible and buy on the go. Stock up on your comfortable, comfy clothes and pajamas, because they will be getting dirty all the time. I used to change my clothes at least 4 or 5 times a day, because either she will vomit on me or she might pee on me. She even had a lot of accidents on me where the diaper will leak. So these kind of things keep on happening, and you just, if you do not want to give your time in the laundry that much, I would suggest that you stock up on comfortable clothes, pajamas and t-shirts for you as well, especially if you're nursing. Then stock up on those loose baggy clothes. One thing that really helped me, the one big change that I made for myself, that I reduced the screen time a lot. I only opened my phone when I really needed it, to check something or respond to a text or call someone. Apart from that, I just kept my phone on the side. I was not going on social media, I was not watching movies, I was not doing anything. Whenever the baby used to sleep, I just used to lie next to the baby and close my eyes. I was sitting out the cleaning, I was sitting out the laundry, because I had a lot of clothes. I was sitting out the cleaning because we already deep cleaned the house. I was sitting out the cooking as well, because I had a lot of freezer meals. So you can see, whenever the baby used to sleep, I used to nurse my daughter and just lie next to her and close my eyes. So reduce the screen time, sit out the cleaning, deep clean the house beforehand, buy a lot of clothes and sit out the laundry after the baby is born, and freezer meals. So you see how I divided the zone in 4 things, and I reduced everything, and at the end of the day I had a lot of time to relax. At the time of the delivery, one thing that I would highly recommend is, do not overpack the hospital bag. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube where they are packing a lot of stuff in the hospital bag. They are shopping a lot. I would highly recommend that you do a research on your hospital and see what they can give you. I did not even open my hospital bag till it was time for me to go home. I only opened my hospital bag for change of clothes for my daughter and myself. Yes, I did not open my hospital bag at all. Toothbrush, toothpaste, lip balm, moisturizer, change of clothes, towels, slippers, socks, everything, seriously everything was given to me by the hospital. Even the snacks, even a big giant water bottle, jug, everything was given to me by the hospital. So honestly, before packing a hospital bag, check with your hospital what all things they provide, research about it. One additional thing is that you can take a additional empty bag to the hospital, because you will be getting a lot of stuff when you're being discharged. But do not overpack the hospital bag. I just don't think it's worth it, and it's a mess in the end if you have to pack a lot of stuff, and that too you have a newborn to take home. So one highly recommended thing, do not overpack the hospital bag. After the delivery, set up a place where you can lie alongside the baby. For example, I have a carpeted house. What I do is I put a bed sheet on the floor. You just saw it in the clip. At the same place, I put a rocker for my daughter. I put my daughter in the rocker and I just lie down next to her to relax. Also, I have a couch right next to it, so if I want to lie down on the couch, I just lie down there only. It's not like I put my baby over there and then I go into the bedroom to take rest. No, I don't do that, because if she wakes up and if I have to gently even rock her, I have to come back from the bedroom and rock her. That is not resting. It's just disturbing. You will be cranky because of that. What recommended is, wherever you are putting the baby, you can put the baby next to the couch, or if you are going to your own bedroom, just take the rocker with you in the bedroom and just keep your baby at an arm's length and just lie down next to them, so that you can just tap them or rock them if they are even a little uneasy in their sleep, or they are about to wake up, or they are waking up in the middle of the sleep. So you can just rock them and pet them and put them back to sleep. So that set up that kind of arrangement, more comfortable arrangement, more functional arrangement, and the things which are not stressful for you. For example, for a while, I think for at least 2 months, I did not fold the laundry. What I used to do was, I used to just do the laundry, put them in the dryer, and I just used to leave them in the basket, and I'll just take clothes out of that only and wear it. So that was functioning for me, because at that time all I want to focus my energies on my daughter and myself, recovering and taking care of my newborn. Everything else I just shut it out. I was not worrying about cleaning much, I was not worried about cooking much, I was not worried about the laundry. As far as there are dishes clean, I did not worry about their arrangement. The laundry is done, I did not worry about folding them. There is food in the freezer, I just have to warm it up and eat it. All the energy focus on your rest, recovery, and taking care of the baby. Actually, I used to empty the dishwasher in the morning and load the dishwasher in the evening. So after the baby, I used to just let the dishes pile up in the sink, and in the night when I used to unload the dishwasher and then load the dishwasher. So I used to do everything at one time. Yes, there was a pile of dishes in my sink. I was not letting it bother me. You see, that is how you have to space out from things and focus all your energy on one thing, which is taking care of a baby and taking care of yourself. Planning to breastfeed, I would highly recommend that you start pumping. You can read more about pumping, there is a lot of information available. I would highly recommend that you pump. Reason being, if you are lying down, just lying down for 5 minutes, and immediately your baby wakes up and your baby wakes up to feed, you have to get up and latch the baby and feed the baby. In my case, what I do is I keep some pumped milk in the lying down position only. I just tilt the position in the 45-degree angle of my baby, and I pop the bottle and I just relax. I close my eyes and I just sit there, because when you're sitting up and trying to feed, your back hurts, especially if you're a new mom. It is very difficult, it is very stressful, and again it again adds up to the anxiety. So try to come up with things which are safe which are comfortable for you and safe for your newborn, and try to work around those things. About cleaning the house, I let my 4-year-old play all around the house. I just let him play with all the toys he wants. I do not bother about stressing him to pick up the toys every time he's finished playing. I just let the toys be there for a couple of days, maybe maybe the entire week, because I have to pick my battles wisely. I will get time to pick up those toys. This is my recovery time, this is my newborn time. This is not the time where I stress about picking up each and every toy. So you see, that is how I spaced out from things that did not matter, and I spaced in on things that were important. I have a video on my channel on the daily routine of my toddler and newborn. You can go through that. It will give you a more better visual picture of what my day looks like. When we have a visual picture of things, they work out more properly for us. We are able to understand and relate more to them. So I do have a video up on my channel of my daily routine with toddler and newborn. You can go ahead and check it out. Final takeaway: sit out the cooking by doing freezer meals. Sit out the dishes by letting the dish pile up for a while, and you can load and empty the dishwasher at the same time. Sit out the laundry by just ignoring the folding of the laundry for some time. Also, just buy some more extra comfortable clothes for yourself. A child does not need a perfect mom, they need a happy one. So choose your battles wisely.